What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today, ZBCN USD. It is the 21st day of May. Here we are sitting at about $0.003, just below there, with 10 hours, 33 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it again. Let's look at the short-term stuff here. Yesterday, the expectation was to bounce from this area and go up, a little bit. Interacting with these lows here, I mean, this could very well be the move that we were looking for, more or less. 0031, 0033, something in that range. I mean, we've basically attained that here. It is possible that we go higher. Hold on. It is completely possible that we go higher. I want to look at the short-term stuff. I don't believe that from here that we go up and we see a high that's a lower high like this. I don't believe that we go up and we see a higher high. I very much do believe that we are still on a path lower. And actually, before we get into the short-term stuff, I get asked this question all the time. I should say frequently more so over the past few weeks, and specifically this week. Do I still believe that Zebec will see new all-time lows? The answer is yes, probably. It probably will. I do believe it will. That doesn't mean that we're going to see a move like this to the downside and 7 weeks from now that we'll be down here. That's not what that means, okay? I think it'll take time. It could take 7 months. That might be more appropriate than 7 weeks. Maybe a few months at the least, if not longer. I think that it will be Q3 or Q4, late Q3 at that, if not Q4, potentially even Q1 of 2027, Q3, Q4, 2026, Q1 of 2027, somewhere in that time frame, that we will see these lower lows come into play. I do believe that we'll see lower lows than this by the end of the summer, but as far as new all-time lows go, that'll be end of cycle stuff, end of bear cycle stuff. Okay, notice here, we're on Bybit, ZBCN USDT. Yes, it is perps. It's not spot price. However, this is the most volume as far as trading for Zebec is concerned goes. With this move up, there was no volume. No volume at all. Yes, you've broken out of this range, but you've had no volume. This is typically fake out territory. This is where you get into trap territory. And if we come back below this line, I would thoroughly believe that we will inevitably see lower lows here. If we're seeing lower lows than this, the expectation automatically becomes, and at the moment for me it really is already, that we would see the 1272 to the 1618 at a minimum, the 1886 to the 2618 at a maximum. I mean, you could go lower. Who's to say that that's the maximum? And then whenever I say these things, people are like, yeah, you say that's what the charts say, but you don't address the partnerships that they're making. Shove those partnerships where the sun don't shine, baby. Have you ever heard of Credits? Have you ever heard of Credits? They partnered with IBM. They made 30 partnerships in like a year. Have you ever heard of Credits? They had the fastest blockchain. They were the first blockchain to ever create 1 million transactions per second and have it audited through a third party. Have you ever heard of Credits? Yeah. They took those partnerships and shoved them where the sun don't shine. I'm taking my own personal experience and trying to apply it here for you guys, right? If your answer is, screw the charts, they're making partnerships, you're going to learn that partnerships don't really mean anything. Mergers mean things. Acquisitions mean things. Partnerships don't mean anything. What? You think that Stellar Lumens and Zebec, they've partnered. You think that if Zebec goes down, if it went to zero, if it became nothing, you think that's going to take Stellar with it? No, they're not. It's not a we're all in this together type of thing. That just means, hey, we're friendly. Let's make a public show of good faith that we're friendly with each other. That's it. It's something to get people excited for, to pump, and then dump on the news. That's it. That's all it is. Partnerships typically almost always don't mean anything. Again, IBM, if you don't know what IBM is, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's one of the biggest multi-billion-dollar companies in the world. IBM partnered with Credits. Have you ever heard of Credits? Fastest transactions per second that ever existed with a third-party auditor involved. 30 partnerships a year, if not more. Have you ever heard of Credits? Dude, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Here we are at 00298, getting way off track here, just explaining that yes, I do believe we'll see lower lows. I do believe it'll happen. I don't believe it'll happen this week, next week, the following month even. It'll probably take to the end of this year, if not the very beginning of 2027. But yes, we're in that process. How long did it take to get from here to here? Now double that, right? Here we are, right? And that would barely take us just above this low here. That would be in January of 2027. I wouldn't be surprised if this next leg was a little bit faster, but still, you get the point, right? That doesn't mean that we have to go lower. We could somehow be absolved of going lower, but again, from your all-time high to your first bear market low, as far as I'm concerned, you should at least see a 90% drop, which should take you to this low, and I would believe that that would be sufficient enough to cause some capitulation to the downside. We'd see bulls capitulate and panic sell, and all the conviction that you have over these partnerships isn't really going to matter too much once we're at low enough prices. We'll see. Time will tell. We'll see. 1 hour time frame. I didn't mean to even go off on that there, but 1 hour time frame here. It's the most audacious thing whenever people say things like, yeah, I know the charts say this. I know you're a technical guy, but dude, you're ignoring the fundamentals here. You're ignoring the partnerships and the strategic friendships that they're making. You're ignoring all this. Shove it where the sun don't shine, baby. It doesn't matter. If you're telling me it matters, you're telling me that you are new to the game. And if you're listening to this and you think it matters and you're new to the game, those are a lot of assumptions I just made, and if they're all right, that might be because I've been in the exact same position before, lived through experience, right? Monkey see, monkey don't do. Hopefully, 0029 right here, from a low to a high, getting below the 382, found support at the 382, found resistance at the 236. Looking like you want to move down. Yeah, I mean you could move lower. This does look like a kind of bullish phase consolidation, lower volume as you're consolidating through. I wouldn't be surprised if you moved up. If you did move up from here, would you get a higher high? Maybe. Would you get a lower high? Maybe. I'm not expecting anything too incredible. I certainly wouldn't expect that we get above 0033, but sure, you could see another little rally here. It is possible. Looking at the indicators, the RSI is bullish enough, honestly. You've got higher lows and higher highs here, higher lows. You could afford to come lower and still continue to move up higher. I mean, it looks bullish enough. More bearish than bullish, though, right? Because a lot of this is getting oversold. Really, you've only gotten overbought once, but the ball is in the bull's court right now. I would say as long as you stay out of the oversold zone, you're probably okay. That was one of the reasons we went bullish yesterday, is because you were bouncing off the oversold zone, right? Stochastics have reset. You're oversold here. Just because you're oversold doesn't mean you can't go lower. You got oversold here. You even got out of the oversold zone and you still went lower, so just be aware of that, okay? The MACD is right at a point where you'd expect it to bounce, actually. And oddly enough, so you could bounce off the zero, sure, but your oscillators, the way that you're trending here, maybe you go a little bit below the zero and then you still bounce. I mean, you've got a lot of flexibility here. So you could break out to the downside or move down a little bit lower and then still move up higher. And based off these fibs, I would expect that you move lower based off the fibs. So let's call for 00295 to 0029 itself. If you can find support there and get back above 003, let's say, I would then expect that we do see a higher high. You find support at 0029 or higher and you get back above 003, I would think that you're clear for prices that are around 0031 to 0033. We're not talking about anything extreme here, but a little bit of something, right? A little something there. Four-hour time frame here. MACD's bearish overall, but you're building some bullish momentum. I would at least expect another drive of bullish momentum, something that does take you higher. So yes, that's fine. The RSI here, again, giving you flexibility. You could come down and still have this bullish kind of higher low dynamic. You have broken out of this. You've broken out of this downtrend here to the upside, so that's got some bullish foreshadowing to it. The stochastics rejected the overbought zone. That's not good. That's never ideal, but you're not necessarily bearish here either. I mean, you did reject that, and that was bearish last time. I don't know. Make no mistake, guys. Again, even though I am at this moment kind of expecting that we see a slightly higher high here, maybe it's at 0031, maybe it's at 0033, something likely in between that area. You have already back tested prior support here for resistance here. You've already back tested that, so you very well could continue to move down. And overall, I do expect you will move lower. But let's look at this actually. Low to high. 1272886. I mean, it doesn't look good, man. It doesn't look good. The highest I'd give you would actually be 00328. That'd be the highest I give you. It doesn't look good. I mean, going from your 1272 for support then to your 886 for resistance, actually, typically you do just go lower. Maybe I should just keep it simple and call for that. I'm going to call for that. Even though, so this is why it's important to watch the whole video, because I'm subject to change. I can change my opinion. And things are bullish enough and flexible enough where you could see higher prices. Maybe I'm wrong for a minute. But overall, you are in a very bearish environment with all these indicators, with all of them. Rejecting the overbought zone here, this is where it kind of started for me as far as like being hesitant of calling for higher prices right now. Maybe you go higher. Maybe you do something like this. Cool, whatever. I can be wrong for this. We've been right so far. I'll be wrong for that, and then boom, we'll be right for the big move. I don't care. Might lose the battle, but the war is still on, and it's to the downside. I would expect your next target to be around 0026 or lower. 00259 or lower. You do like your 1886200 level, so keep that in mind. That could be around 00236, 00243. And then we look at the daily time frame. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't like the resistance at prior support either. There's like three things, pretty significant things, right? You've got the rejection on the stochastics. You've got the bearish MACD overall, right? Not a whole lot of volume on this pump, but the biggest spike in volume was at the top here where you sold off a little bit, where you had the selling wick, finding resistance at prior support. I don't like it, man. I'm glad that in the beginning of the video, for the large part of this video, I was talking about the price going up a little bit so that you are at least aware of the area where it might go. But I'm sticking with this. I'm going to nix that. I'm going to say screw that. If it happens, cool, whatever. I can be momentarily wrong, but I do think that we're just going to continue to persist lower. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then some people might be like, isn't this the sweet spot? Yeah, it can be. It can be the sweet spot, but that's if you have reason to believe that it's going to continue higher. Not reasons to believe that it's topped off, and I have plenty of reasons to believe that it's topped off. I think this sweet spot is much less significant than this sweet spot here. You see? Overweighed by that, right? And you're breaking through the apex. It's just bearish, man. I think you're bearish. You do have a little bit of flexibility to move up here, but I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.